Alright, so it has been a while since I posted that video asking for all of you to send in any questions you might have. I figured it'd be a good way for you all to get to know me a bit better, and I gave it a couple weeks just so everybody would have time to get their questions in. And now there's nothing left to do but go in and let's get to reading these comments. Also, before I start, I just want to quickly say that I know the E36 has been looking pretty beat lately, just the paint, everything's real dirty, but I'm going to be repainting it. I'm going to clean the whole thing up. I'm completely going through it. It's going to be the same color as the Miata, which for spray paint I think looks really good. But okay, let's answer some questions, which I haven't even opened the video since I posted it. I wanted it to be sort of like a genuine surprise, my first reaction, which I've seen a few of the comments pop up on like my manager dashboard sort of thing on YouTube, and I've seen some quite silly ones, which I'll probably answer a lot quicker, more brief than like some serious questions that I know a lot of people actually want to hear, just so I can get to like a lot of questions and try and keep this video from being too long. But now I will pull up this video and just start from the beginning. I'm going to go through the top like comments, just start there and just work my way down. Okay, it is loading, and the top comment is by Ethan Miles. What do you do for a living? Which the past 4 years I've actually been in college. I just finished up my 4th year, which I'm actually going to be taking a break. I know that kind of sounds weird after being here 4 years, but I can explain it later. But normally I try to avoid working like during the school year just so I can focus on school, because I have that, cars, and BMX. Like there's a ton of stuff going on. I'm really busy as a person. So what I normally have to do is just work my ass off over summer real hard, save up as much money as I can to last me throughout the school year, which normally towards the end of it, the last month or so, I get pretty drained and stuff, which this year was really rough. Obviously I got married and stuff. We're looking for a new house now, still looking for it, and then like court stuff. It's just been really weighing on me. And now that school's out, I can get a job, which I could get a job before, no excuses, but I actually have an interview at like an Advanced Auto coming up, so hopefully I get that. I'm just trying to work any job really, just so I can fund the cars, get this turbo build started. But now to the next question. Okay, so Logan Tompkins asked, what was your first car? Which my first car, it was nothing cool. The first car that was like properly mine, not my parents or anything, solely mine, it was a really crappy, beat up, old Buick Regal. It was 96 custom, automatic, grandma car as it can get. It was the biggest piece of junk, but I drove the absolute piss out of it, burnouts, J-turns, anything. I drove that car harder than anything. I guess just my younger delinquent days, which I blew it up once. And I think it ended up blowing a head gasket, sold it for like $200 or something. It was a complete junk car, but I kind of miss it sometimes, just reminiscing like the high school days, just in a shitty car, just rally, doing whatever. And it was a real shitty car. I'll try and get a picture of it. I don't know if I can find any. I'll put it on the screen. Piece of trash. But now to the next one. So here's the first silly one. It's called Monte84, which I see you comment all the time on the videos. He says, tits or ass, which obviously, preferably you'd go both, but maybe ass. Ass is nice, you know, big fat booty, but I'm just going to move on from that. My final verdict is ass. But next question by Alex Solorio. I apologize if I horribly mispronounced your name. I'm trying. What is the #1 thing you hate about both of your cars? This one would be sort of like the sketchiness of it, which a lot of it's due to me. Like when I started on it, I knew a bit about cars, but like I just sort of ripped into it and sent it and did a lot of stuff that I would never do now. I wish I could just like go back and clean it up a little bit, and I'll remove all the sound deadening and everything. But I'm trying to fix it up now. Hopefully I can sort of fix my mess that I created. But other than that, I really love this car. It's been super dialed. It's never like stranded me broke. It takes a beating and keeps on going. Now the Miata would definitely be how slow it is. Like everybody knows Miatas are slow, but it is just like embarrassingly slow to me, and it drives me nuts. Like I'm used to driving this, which is by no means a fast car, but the Miata is just frustratingly slow. You can't keep up with like traffic or anything. Like I am constantly driving it over 4,000 RPM like every time I get up from a stop, and like I'll be like 4,500 and like a Camry just putting along will outrun me. It's really frustrating. You can't get out of the way of traffic and stuff. It's just super annoying dealing with that non-stop. But I do like the Miata. It's ridiculously slow. Okay, the next question is Wrench Life 604 asks, how big is your dick? No homo though, ain't into that gay shit. I don't know. I don't measure my penis. That's weird. I'm just gonna move on from that one. So Devin Rubal, I don't know how to say your name, I'm sorry, but he asked, how much did you pay for the E36 and how much have you put into it? Now the car, I actually traded an old V8 E34 for, which I had like nothing in, it was nothing. So I pretty much got the car, nothing, but it was completely smashed. The whole front of the car was like demolished, which the previous owner actually did a lot of work to get this thing back drivable and everything, but it was still super sketchy. Everything was mismatched, and I spent probably like a solid month just going to the junkyard trying to piece this thing together. It was a lot of work, but it ran and drove. That's all I cared about. And as far as like money I put into it, really not that much. I'm sure it like adds up over time, like $100 here, $100 there, but really this car's built like extremely cheap, which I think is pretty obvious. And I've done all the work myself, so there's not really much like maintenance or anything into that. So overall, like probably about 500 or something worth of parts, and it's not much at all. I'm sure there's a lot more than that, but really it's real cheap. It's just the E36 stripped out with a welded diff. Nothing much to it. So Lexus GS400 asks, will the beanie ever come off? Now, if you go back to like when I first started YouTube, I don't know how long it was, like 6 months ago or so, actually in a lot of videos did not wear a toboggan beanie at all, which I started wearing it just because it's like real convenient. I have messy hair, whatever, I just throw it on, I can wear it, get greasy, don't have to worry about anything, and it was just real convenient for filming. But then it sort of became sort of like, I guess, a thing, a trademark, which I really do not care about wearing a beanie. I take it off, but it's kind of funny to keep it going at this point, so I just leave it on. And I actually posted an autocross video a month ago, a couple weeks ago or sometime, where I actually take it off in there. So if you want to see it, you can go there. I'll put a link on the screen. But Moto After Moto asks, what are you studying in school? Now, I'm actually a psychology major with an anthropology minor. I'm just really into that sort of thing, and it's a good like general job. You can get into like criminal justice and just counseling, all sorts of stuff. It's interesting, and to be honest, if I could go back, I'd probably go for like business or something. Just whatever. At this point, I'm just ready to get a degree, so I'm gonna be done with all of this. Now, Sean Kelchner, I'm terrible with these names. It's gonna be the worst, but he asks, what are your opinions on a good first car? Which I would definitely say older 90s, mid 90s, something reliable, something cheap. Obviously E36s, E46s, anything along those lines. A lot of people are like BMWs to stay away from, like maintenance is terrible. But any of you out there, which I'm sure a lot of you own them, know that it's really not the case. But other than that, some other good cars. Just for me, obviously I want to recommend everything rear-wheel drive so you can drift it. Miatas are alright, they're really slow, which I guess a good thing is first car. But pretty much anything that's a bit older, you can find parts in junkyards. Maintenance is real simple, cheap. That's just a good beater car for you to learn to drive. Anything manual, mid 90s, 80s, wherever, something reliable. I mean, you're pretty much good to go. Real simple, but obviously BMW is where it's at. The next question is by Smalls YT. I assume that means YouTube, but he asks S14 or E36, which I'll probably get a lot of hate for this, but I definitely have to say E36, which I know it's like obviously because I have one, but genuinely there's reasons I have this car over one of those. 240s in my opinion are just really overrated. Yes, they can be real capable drift cars and everything, but you're gonna do the effort to swap motors, SRs, whatever in there. You gotta do all the work changing motors. We can just pick up an E36 for like $1,000, $1,500, and you have around 200 horsepower. That's plenty enough to rip in the dry, and you don't have to do anything. You can just weld the diff or have LSD and go at it. Whereas 240s, anybody wants one. They're extremely like overpriced for what they are. You're gonna probably pay at least like $2,000 probably for like a shitty one, and you're only gonna have maybe like 140, 150 horsepower, a little 4-cylinder with not very much torque, just because you want a 240. And just really, in my opinion, it's the way to go. Which I love 240s. I mean, I wouldn't mind owning one, but would you rather pay like half the price and get a stock E36 that you can find everywhere and parts are in the junkyard like crazy, or a 4-cylinder car with a truck motor with 140 horsepower that you're gonna have to beat the piss out of to drift it sideways? Which I'm sure I'll get a lot of comments like, I got S14, I got S13, they drift good, which I support them, no hate, but just in my opinion, old BMWs are real underrated, and I hope they kind of stay that way so I can keep buying them off for cheap. Okay, D Wild asks, what do you think is the best car for around $1,000? Which pretty much is in the like E36, kind of like a beat up one maybe you'll find around there. Miatas are kind of like that. They've actually gone up a lot in price, and I see them for about like $225, somewhere around there. I got extremely lucky for finding mine for cheap. which the guy was moving away. I contacted him super quick as soon as it was posted, and I was like, I'm ready, I'm serious, I have money, I will be there whenever you want. So pretty much something like that, but really $1,000, you can't be too picky. Just something manual, preferably rear-wheel drive, but it's $1,000, you can't be too picky. So I'm not even going to try and pronounce his name, but the question is hand job or blow job, which is funny, but just the comment that Louis K, I don't know how to say your name, but he just commented anal, which for some reason is cracking me up. But I guess blow job, I don't know. I'm just going to move on from that one. But just the fact anal, that cracked me up. Okay, but on to the next question. Your Pistachios asks, what is your exact address? Also, do you leave your car unlocked at night? Which actually the E36, the doors do not even lock. Something electrical or something like that went out and I didn't bother with trying to fix it. But it's kept in the garage all the time, so you can't really get to it. It's no big deal. Now, I'm not going to give you my full address, but I really would like to open up like a P.O. box or something. All of you could like just send me whatever, letters, drawing, whatever you want, and I could like reply. I think that'd be kind of cool, so I'm probably going to do that in the future. Now, Smart Feller asks, where did you meet Ruby and where can I pick up girls? I actually met Ruby like in high school like a long time ago. We were like really good friends, like rode the bus together, and she actually moved away, so it sort of died off, but then like we sort of got back together, like reconnected like while I was in college and stuff, and obviously it was like just picked up right back. It was awesome. We really get along together. We're both really goofy and awkward, so it works out. Now, as far as where can I pick up girls, now in the modern age of technology, I would just say maybe go to like Tinder or something. I've actually never used it, but like everybody knows it works. I guess do that. Otherwise, just mac on girls on Instagram or something. I don't know. I don't pick up girls. I'm married. Okay, so David Lagner says, are you a stoner? Which I'm actually not. I know I look like it. People comment all the time with the toboggan, the long hair, the little scraggly mustache and everything, but I really don't. I just never had the urge. I will drink from time to time, but that's seriously like it, and I haven't even done that in like a month or something. I just never really cared about that. I just work on cars and do whatever. Okay, so the next question is by someone who actually commented earlier. I'm not going to try to pronounce the name, but race car or girlfriend, which is going to get me in trouble, you know, because I'm married and everything, but I would definitely say race car. Girlfriends are cool and all, but you know, no girlfriend, a lot more money, you can have a lot more fun. Race car, you know, race car, which this isn't really a race car, but that's what I would say. And let's be honest, you know, you got like Pornhub and everything. I didn't say it, but on to the next question. So Deadpoolicious says, did you go to mechanic school or did you learn everything you know along the way? Which I definitely learned just by doing it. I've never been to school or anything, and I've always just been really broke, and if one of my cars broke, I had no choice but to fix it if I wanted to drive and not walk everywhere. So if you don't have a choice, it'll make you learn real quick how to fix stuff, just working on stuff like that. You just learn a lot over time just from doing stuff. Okay, so Miguel Carmona09, sorry if I mispronounced that, asks why not an E30? Now, they're awesome little cars, but a lot of people want them. They're really expensive, and I just much rather just pay less and have an N50, a bit more power and just simpler. And I like E36s because they're always in junkyard. Parts are really easy to find. E30s, a lot of time, they're just obviously not as common, but if they do get wrecked or anything, a lot of people keep them and part them out instead of just sending it to the junkyard, which a lot of E36 owners are just, you know, your average Joe, they don't really care. Now, Josh Messer says, what are some good / cheap BMWs to get into modding, which really is just like any BMW. Obviously, I keep saying E36. E46s are getting really cheap now. I was just looking at some like pretty clean ones for like $2,000 running and driving. That's just super cheap to me. I really would like to get one at some point. But pretty much anything, even like stuff like E34s. I really like E34s, they're underrated. Just get something like that, do something a bit different, and just work on it. It's just, you can't go wrong really with an old BMW. Okay, so John NB2255 asks, how did you get the hole in the garage floor? Now, I have a couple roommates, and one of them, both his parents are actually realtors, which they looked for a house because it was cheaper for us to like all rent a house together here for school instead of getting apartments. Apartments are pretty expensive here, so we figured why not get a house, and they ended up finding this one with the mechanic pit and everything. Obviously, it was like a perfect fit. It had 3 rooms and everything. It worked out perfect. And we could rent it for cheaper than apartment still, so they just went ahead and bought the house. It's an investment, sort of like their kid, and have it paid off and stuff. They're realtors, so it works out. But we just got lucky, found a house with the pit, and obviously I'm super grateful for it. And I'm sure whenever I eventually move out somewhere, I'm gonna miss it a lot, and I definitely do not look forward to jacking the car from working underneath it all the time. But now I'm going to start going through questions just a bit quicker, try to get to a lot of them, because there is a lot of questions, and I would just like to try to get to as many as I possibly can. Now, Lauren Moore says, how old are you? I am 22. Now, Ashton Thompson says, how did you get into YouTube and why? Now, this one I'll answer a bit more detail. Now, I actually sort of always wanted to do it, like just bike and BMX stuff. Like, I actually had an old account years ago that I made like a terrible BMX at it. It was just absolutely terrible. Anybody that rides, you would just laugh at it. But I actually thought I deleted it, and I didn't. And then I went back like a year ago or so, not even, like a little before my YouTube channel, and then I saw that it got like 30,000 views or something, and that was crazy to me, and I was like so embarrassed. I'm like, oh, this shitty video got this many views. I was just like, And then one day I posted a video on Instagram where I think I did like just like donuts or something around Ruby and like gravel or something, or I slung my bumper off, I don't know, but it ended up getting like 4,000 views or something, which back then to me that was just crazy. I had like maybe like 700 followers or something, and I was like, oh, maybe I should just start throwing clips together like that I had on my phone and GoPro and stuff, just make like a little tiny video for YouTube, which I did. It was terrible. It got like no views, but it's up there. It's my first ever video. You can go see it. It's real garbage, but that's sort of how it started off. And then I just started making like reviews and stuff, just general things that I knew like some people would want to see, but you didn't really have to like stick there and watch. Like, it's just like stuff you want information, not to watch for me. Like, it's a review, you just want to see if it's good or not. You don't want to see like watch it for me and whatever. It's just hard to explain, but that's just how I started off. Now, Blake's Garage, it's actually a YouTube channel. You should definitely go check them out. I'll put like a link or something. But yeah, if you had a choice, nice LSD or welded diff, also what ratio do you like for the E36? Now, I will pretty much always say welded diff. They're simple. Obviously, if you have like a nice like cause, I don't know how you say it, but like $1,000 rear diff, obviously it'll be nice, like a 40-60% lockup or something. But the welded diff is just super consistent power, the same amount of power to both wheels. There's no like transfer or anything. It's just simple, and I like it more because if something breaks, it's so easy to get another one, throw it in, where I'm not gonna have to pay like $1,000 for a new diff. Simplicity, that's how you should keep it. And ratio wise, I actually just put a 391 in, which is really short, which I really like so far, but as like a daily sort of car, it's probably not the best, just because like on highway speeds you're gonna be like 4,000 RPM. It's just not the best, but pretty much any ratio a bit quicker. I think they have like 364s, 334s, just anything like that. The 391's a bit aggressive, but pretty much anything 315 to like 370, somewhere in there. It's like, that's probably a really good ratio. Now, sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name, but I mean, I'm putting it on the screen and everything, but what will your next car be? I would really like to get like another E34. I haven't had one in ages and I miss it. Just the V8 ones are so cool to me. They look like a straight through like grandpa car, and just having like a loud V8 roar, I think that's just the coolest thing, and they're like really underrated. You never really see them around, so I'd really like to do that. But maybe I'll get like an E46, like a daily drifter, and just sort of keep it clean and everything. But really, my heart says E34. I'd really like to get one. And I was actually looking at picking up one whenever I was looking at cars for the Miata, but the Miata popped up first, and I was just buying whatever I could get like quickly because I wanted a car. I was antsy, so I got a Miata. Now, Hayden Frederick asked, do you eat ass like groceries? I don't know. Now I'm starting to get to like the lower comments, so I'm probably going to wrap it up before too long, but I do want to try and get to as many comments as possible, so I'm going to be really quick about it. Now my friend Joanne asked, can we delete the cats and Resonator on his E30? Obviously, bring it by my house, we'll do it today. Now Spinner's Garage says, what's the best starter drift car for around $1,500? Please shout out to Spinner's Garage. But $1,500, obviously I'm going to say it again over and over again, E36, they're dirt cheap, you can pick them up stock for nothing, and I mean, they have enough power to spin the drive without even really trying, instead of having some 4-cylinder, no torque. They work, they're simple, they're easy to work on, maintain. You can't go wrong with them, but other than that, I mean, I guess maybe a Miata, I don't like them, they have no power, and I mean, I own one, I can tell you, I wouldn't really recommend it. The Blank 231 says, do you ever get smelly feet? Yes, I ride BMX. If you ever smell my feet after riding, you would just like die or something. I don't know. It is just heinous, anus, terrible, stinks like shit. Now, Stan Evaslu, sorry I don't know how to pronounce it, but he says, why Shark, why not new paint job and a little more drift car look? Now, the car, the Shark Teeth, this pretty much is the car at this point. It will always have them. As long as I have the car, which is going to be forever, I will turn it into a yard ornament when I'm like 70 or something. But it's going to have it. I would love to get a new paint job at some point, even if it's just like a cheapo Mako paint job or something. Just like the cream color, it'd be nice, and I'll put the Shark Teeth on the side, which really sucks spray painting a brand new paint job, but it's just the car. I like it, and I mean, I think it looks pretty drifty. It looks pretty shitty, but shitty is drifty half the time, so that's that. Mopo Limo, I can't really pronounce it, but he says, what is your dream car? Which really, I would say probably like an E34, 540i, 6-speed. They're extremely rare. I would love to have one. It's probably like my dream car. I don't really care about like Lamborghinis, Ferraris, or anything. I like a car that's like rare, cool, and different. Marcus Hodge says, what's your favorite JDM car of all time? I don't know. I don't particularly have one. Someone commented, on your wheels and tires, is that overspray? Yes, it's from my very shitty paint job. Okay, so this is probably going to be just the last question. I'm just going to wrap it up so this video isn't too long. Now, Jacob Wilson says, Q&A, you said you don't like the sound of 4 cylinders, and why? Now, I am extremely picky about exhaust, and to be honest, I actually really like V8s. Like I've been saying, E34s, V8, those are like my favorite sounding car. I had a straight pipe, and when I went from that to this, I actually really didn't like it. Like, yes, I think it sounds good and stuff, but it wasn't nothing special. I really like the V8s, and this is just kind of but 4 cylinders is just like raspy. They're hard to make sound decent. I know a lot of people are like, yeah, my 4 cylinder sounds great, it's perfect, it's straight pipe, but I mean, it's just and that's why the Miata is going to keep the stock exhaust. If anything, I'll do a cat delete, and it's really nice. I want to keep it like silent so I can rip it anytime I want, just like driving in the street, and I really have to worry about it. Where like with this car, Mikey's car, they're just super loud. If you do anything, it's going to attract everybody's attention. Cops going to come over, they're in the area. It's just a shit show, so it's nice to keep a silent car. But that's pretty much going to wrap it up. I hope you all enjoyed it. I tried to keep it pretty short, and I wanted to like address a bunch of things. There's a lot of like repeat questions and everything, but I will do this more often. If you have questions or anything, obviously ask them on any of my videos. I typically would just answer them there in the comment section, but if enough of you want it, let me know. I will make another one a bit better. This was kind of rushed and stuff, but that's pretty much it. As always, stay tuned. I will be doing a bunch of stuff to E36. I actually went all the way to like Fayetteville, like a 2-hour road trip the other day, and got a ton of E36 parts, thanks to like a really awesome guy. So there's going to be a ton of stuff going down with the E36, and I'm going to do a turbo update soon, which I know all of you really care about. But that's going to wrap it up. Until then.